And I give you credit for something. You can sell books. This is a conspiracy. But you don't have enough evidence to indict a ham sandwich in any court of law. If you did, it would have already been done. So, in closing, continue to sell books. That's all you do. I hope you get a cut. But nothing's ever going to happen because you can't indict a ham sandwich.
Well, first of all, it's not my job or your job to indict anybody, so saying that we can't or don't do it is kind of irrelevant and ridiculous. The indictment comes after the investigation. See, you got the cart before the horse. You don't start out knowing that who did it and why they did it and when they did it and who else was involved. You don't start out with any of that. That's what you find out from the investigation, and that's, you know, I'm being very nice to you and explaining it to you as if you're really a serious caller. But I've heard you before, and I don't think you have the right spirit. You're not trying to find out the truth. You're trying to be as negative as possible about anything you hear people like us say, regardless of its basis in rationality.
Well, also we're looking at fighting the battle of the court of public opinion, and just getting people to know what happened on 9/11. That's powerful in itself.
Yeah, especially when we show things like the David Chandler videos where we show a piece of debris coming out of the building, suddenly exploding and changing course, and that's perfect evidence that explosives were in this process. The fact that they were there at all shows that the official story is a lie. That much is enough to get the investigation without having to know anything else. Okay, we got another caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah, I was just wondering how Barack Obama, everybody thought he was going to be the savior of our economy and healthcare and everything. Well, when George Bush was president, I had a job. I had health care. I want to know why everybody thinks he's this big savior and he hasn't done squat.
Yeah, thanks, caller. I don't... What I can really say is, you know, before the election, if you look back in my shows, I was telling people, hey, it doesn't matter which president we have, they still toe the line of the elite that make the decisions. And that sounds like some conspiracy nut raving, but you know, by now you know that Obama did not keep a single one of his promises, not even one. Now you say, what about health care? Well, health care is written for the insurance companies, not us, so that he let us down on that. He didn't get us out of Afghanistan. He didn't get us out of Iraq. He didn't look back on any of these war crimes. He didn't look at the torture. I mean, all this stuff. Now, why do you suppose somebody who said that he would do that didn't? Well, it's because he gets into power. He found out who the elite really are and who they really, I mean, you know, who has the power, and it wasn't him. So giving Obama all the credit that you possibly can, saying that he wanted to do this stuff, I think the fact that he didn't is evidence that he's not on the top of the power structure.
The problem with a two-party system is there's not enough competition. It's almost like a dynasty.
Well, this is a one-party system.
Well, let's say we had 5 active, vibrant political parties. Wouldn't that be
or
better?
More. Oh, absolutely.
But even 5.
Absolutely.
But even 5, because then we'd have a real tussle and a fight.
Right.
But they've got the districts carved out so that they're actually helping each other.
Gerrymandered.
Gerrymandered districts.
Well, the whole, you know, if you see what happens, we allow the corruption to get into this, you know, big pile of corruption, and then we say, okay, that happened under the Democrats, so now, poof, we change over to Republican rule, now everything will be okay. But then they have a scandal. Whoop, now the Democrats are saying, okay, now it's our turn. So we switch back to the Democrats. Each one rescues us from the other, but you notice that they don't ever change the policy.
But they don't investigate the last administration for crimes.
Right, that's it. Remember, some of you might not be old enough, but when Jerry Ford took over after Nixon, he had a program called Whip Inflation Now, and he had these win buttons, W-I-N, But those of us who were cynics said, won't investigate Nixon. That's what that really meant.
So think outside the box and look at other political parties. You know, you don't have to.
You got your...
that's ane911truth.org.
Yeah.
Architects and Engineers. That's a great website. Once again, they have a lot of architectural data.
Right.
You know, hard evidence. Caller, go ahead.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, hi, this is James or Jim. I'm calling up. I'm just going to mention the fact that the President of the United States is the President of the United States, not Haiti or Iraq. You know, where's the American help? 9/11 happens. Where's all them people coming over here to help us? All I see is Mexicans and Russians, everybody taking our jobs, and we're left with nothing. And I got nothing. The American people need help. We don't need health care. We need jobs.
I agree with.
Let's stand up and do something for us.
We do need jobs, and systematically the manufacturing base has been moved offshore, you know, like to China and so on. And you know, if you want to see an economic recovery, we have to start rebuilding our manufacturing capability here in the country.
Right. Well, you have to understand the New World Order, the philosophy, and that's to have a giant region, a North American Union, and not have individual countries.
Right.
And to bring in lots of cheap labor, and I mean millions and millions of people who will work for less, and that's the philosophy.
And the borders are virtually gone, even though there are still people building walls.
Unsecure. So you start with that, and then just study the New World Order. It's not that complicated. But this Bilderberg group, they are behind this philosophy. And then you can start to work around it, or work against it. But you have to know where the chess pieces are on the board.
You still there?
I think, no, he's gone.
Oh, okay. Well, you know.
So we're getting a lot of big picture calls.
The big
today.
picture is so hard because it gets into the realm of, you know, some sort of speculation, and we may or may not be right on the subject, but we run the danger if we turn out to be wrong on what we speculate about, that people will say, look, they were wrong on this. Why should we believe anything they're saying? And that's why I try to, you know, stick to the actual science.
And the crime. You're smart to have a focus for this show on 9/11. That's really smart.
Because, well, I can't jump around. I'm not going to be talking about moon men and stuff like that.
Did we go to the moon? Right. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Because all that will just go to discredit. And whether or not you believe any of that other stuff is irrelevant. This is an issue of historical importance, and the history is still not completely gone yet. We can recover the history and prosecute the guilty. If we don't do that, everything that they ever told you and me, you know, about what our country is built on is a lie. It's as simple as that. If we don't prosecute the criminals who did this and stop this stupid phony war lie thing that we got going, we'll never see any justice whatsoever. Go ahead, caller. What do you have to say? What do you think about what I just said?
Okay, am I getting through there?
Yes, you are.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the prophet, and I want to say quite a number of things. I know an awfully lot about what you're talking about, but even that you don't know. I don't want to divulge everything. So if I talk slowly, it's pause. It's because I'm thinking what I want to divulge and don't want to divulge. I had a relationship with Ronald Reagan.
Well, your phone number is already recorded, and the FBI is already hunting you down, so you better hang up and run right now.
Yeah, don't take me slightly.
Well, I mean, I don't even know who you are, and you're talking to me like you're the answer to all our questions. So
No.
So why don't you go ahead and continue, and let's see what you have to say.
Yeah, 911 was designed by players on multiple sides and multiple players.
I
agree with that.
I can go along with that, yeah.
Okay, actually, Richard Clark's book reads like the X-Files.
Well, Richard Clark's book is kind of self-serving too, but I mean, you know, where was he when it happened? Afterwards,
I haven't even read his book, but that's a comment that I've heard. I wanted to see what your response would be.
I have his book. I read it, and it's, you know, it's one of those things where it kind of made me feel like he was trying to tag on to the people who are looking for justice, but only after the fact. Before the fact, he didn't really speak out. I don't know. That's
I'm similar. He and I had a relationship of sort, but it's was always covert, and I wanted it that way.